All right. So next up is going to be George's game. You want to go ahead and introduce us to that?
All right. My game is going to be also science, the science of speed.
In drafting.
It's like some Talladega Nights comments right there.
Mine is Race Formula 90. And this is a game that was initially published, initially published in 2013. So 10 years later, they came out with a second edition and they improved a lot of things. But they didn't need to because the original game is amazing. And I'm saying that after looking at this game, and it has a weight of 3.88, which is heavy for me, the games I usually like. And the running time is 90 to 270 minutes. That is not wrong. This is a 4-hour game.
Wow.
This is a 4-hour game that I like. So there's something to this. I'm not a Formula One fan either. If you are a Formula One fan, this is your game. There's like no doubt about it. But it's called Race Formula 90 because of Formula One racing. And the 90 is the era of the 90s. So it's about the tracks that were around in the 90s and about the style of racing that was done in the 90s. For example, in the 90s, they used a lot of super soft tires, and they they are a little overpowered. So in this version, you get limited to the number of super soft tires you can use, right? But they're still in the game. Everything is in this game. Everything that you want in terms of a Formula racing game. They have rules for weather. They have rules for overtaking cars or holding cars off. They have rules for debris and damage to the cars, debris on the track, cars crashing, and then the safety car comes out and everyone has to line up behind it. Like it's a simulation as much as it is an actual game.
Can you distill the rules down real quick, like an elevator pitch for those who? I know there's a lot of rules, but
yeah,
like run through a turn basically.
When you say there's a lot of rules, can I just real quickly show you? There are 3 rule books, and there are things that you can print out that tell you the rules, and they are
double-sided
really,
full sheets.
Oh my Lord! Like
that's like multiple pages.
Multiple pages. There are quite a lot of rules here, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. Now, basically, what you do in the game is you have your player board, and you can see on the player board there's a spot for your engine, your number of cards that you draw into hand, because the way that you play the game, you play out cards. It's a hand management card playing game. So it's a Euro game that's a racing game. And what I really love about this one is you're not actually racing around the track and worrying about your position on the track in terms of like this turn I move this many spaces and I'm going to crowd this person out or get in their way, whatever. You are, but they represent sections of the race in a Euro style. Each turn represents several laps. So it's just simulating your position in the race ultimately through this card play. And so you have cards, and then you have tires. Some of the things that you do require you to spend tire points in various ways. So you have to select those, and you can go with what they start you with 2 points for each, or you could make one 3 points. So now you get more of that thing. You get more engine slots. Or maybe you put 3 into your cards. Now you get 7 cards instead of 6. Or you put 3 into your tires. Now you get 12 instead of 10. But you have to make one of them a 1 in order to do that. So you'd have a smaller engine, or you'd have, or not smaller, but a more vulnerable engine, or you would have fewer cards or whatever. So there's a decision point to be made before you play the game.
Now, I noticed like the fronts, because I watched a video on this. The fronts, are they all the same for all the different race cars, but you can flip it over and basically customize?
For the fronts of what?
like the player board that you're showing. Like you have a player board, and
Yeah, it comes with all these different chits that you take the chit and you put it on top to change the value. So if you wanted to put 3 points into your engine,
I see. Okay.
You would put this chit that has 6 spots in it over
But
the
otherwise,
top.
all the other player boards are just 2 points in each of the values.
Yeah, that's the default.
Okay.
But you can change it how you like. And then you're going to choose a skill, which is your individual driver skill. And these change the game radically. And there's 10 of them. So you might be really good at pitting. And when you do a pit stop, you don't take as long, which could be crucial. Or you're really good at lapping people, because in F1, lapping someone is the hard part. You catch up to the slow people and then they're getting in your way and it's hard to get around them.
Yeah.
You could be a wise driver where you get to refresh your hand. You get to mulligan your hand once while you're racing around the lap. You're like, hang on, this is not going to work. And you just get more cards in a sense. Or you're a rain expert, and if it's rainy and you get caught out with the wrong tires, because as you're driving around, there are weather cards that come out and they move this track back and forth toward or away from rainy or sunny conditions. So if the weather is inconsistent, you could really get screwed with the wrong kind of tires, because it determines how many spaces you can go. And if you're a rain expert, you get a benefit from that. You could be a flat out driver. That there are spots on the track that are extreme trajectories, and you can go for it. You can take an extreme trajectory on a turn, but if you screw up, there are checks on all the cards that you play. There's a number on the card, and every time you do a check in the game, you have to play lower than that number to pass the check. And if you miss an extreme trajectory check, you could slide and start going off the track. And then you do another check, and maybe if you miss the second one, you actually crash and you're out of the race.
Oh man.
Yeah. So so you could be an extreme trajectory expert and not have to do those checks.
So is there actual player elimination then? Or
yeah. If you crash because you're that reckless, you're going to be out of the race. Or you could burn up your engine. You could take so much damage to your engine that you're out. Or you could spend all your tires. Okay, you're not out, but then you can't do anything that requires you to spend tires. So you're going slow. You're effectively out. Yeah.
One thing I noticed that was like way different. I've played a lot of racing games before, and a lot of them have you have the track, but you have a grid that you're kind of moving back and forth on the spaces. In this, it's like one space, next space, and everybody's kind of in the same space.
Yep. It's just a section. And it's like, it's a simulation of your position. It's not your exact position.
Because like every time you go, it could be like 4 or 5 laps later or whatever. Because you're like doing hundreds of laps or something.
Yeah, I don't even know how many F1 do, but they do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have these strategies that you're going for, or your skill, and that is a strategy you take at the start of the race. Then you select your tires, and what kind of tires you're going to go with depends on what the track conditions are that you expect. But also, the number of tires that you get is also going to be determined by the kind of tire that you take. And some of them, if you take soft tires, you can spend one of the special soft tires to go an extra section of track when you really need it.
Oh, wow.
And if you have super soft, you get a couple of those you can spend and go 2 extra steps. But it's not a whole lot during the whole game. So when you do that or when you don't do that, it's so strategic as well as tactical. As you play, it's very tactical based on the cards that you get, but your overall strategy has incredible impact on the game. So you really feel like you deserve it if you do well.
Yeah.
So then you're picking a strategy. So you've got your skill, that's a driver skill, but then a strategy for that particular race. And the strategies are on these cards that, well, here, let me just show you a picture of it. Here we go. That you can save fuel during the race. You can push yourself to go faster and burn fuel. You can just have a strategy of, I'm going to get lucky. And you draw 2 cards, And if they match, if they're the same number on the card, like the cards go from 1 through 4. So if you get 2 4s, then you get to draw a special track card. Because what these do, your strategy tells you if you do a certain thing, you get to draw a special track card. There are 6 tracks for the game now, like Silverstone in England and Spa, right, and Hungamoring, and like these famous tracks from the 90s, and I'm sure they're still there. But anyway, you get these cards that are particular to that track, and also particular to a certain corner, which means you have a knowledge or a special idea. In this corner, I'm going to do this thing. And so when you go through that corner of the track, you can play that special card. And instead of 1 through 4, it could be like a 7. Like it could just give you a huge boost and do different things. So you get those special tracks by doing certain things, depending on what your strategy for the race has been. So if you take banging wheels, you're going to try to get into as many corner contests as you can and bash into other cars because it's getting you special track cards as well. And it's the game is so deep in that regard. So you get all this kitted out and figured out for your car, and then you choose your tires, right? There's all the different tire kinds you can get. So there's
it's definitely sounded like you have to play it more than once.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, the first time you play, you're gonna get trounced.
James, have you played this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Keep going.
I played a bunch of other racing games too, but
I guess that's my question, George, is have you played a lot of other racing games, and how does this compare? Yes. And also, I already know this question. It seems like it's set really far apart from the traditional gameplay of a racing game.
It is, and I've not seen a comparison. Like, for me, there's no other racing game. I'm not that into racing games, but this one just sings. I really, really enjoy this one, and there's definitely a curve to learn the rules to it, because there are different rules that take place at different times. There's like exceptions to different things, but everything is so thematic that I really like it. Okay. You have a qualifying round at the start of the race to determine your setup in the start. So it might look like this, and you're one of these cars back in here, right? Or maybe you're starting out as a leader, but your qualifying round, you have to play a card and select a chit, which is your pit. So if you want to add and qualify well, you're going to be pitting earlier.
Right, because I saw that you're required to pit once through the game, but you can pit as many times as you want.
I don't think there's any track that you can make it on a single. Well, no, that's not true. You can make it on a single pit if you overfill your tank later, but by doing so, by giving yourself extra fuel, you're going to be pitting. You're going to be taking longer in the pit. So you start back further on the track after the pit. Like maybe the track has a pit of 8 spots. So normal pit, you go back 8 spots. Yeah. Yeah. But if you put in an extra 4 rounds of gas into your tank, now you're going back 10 spots.
That's crazy.
But you could do it. You could try it.
You did say this is a heavyweight game, right? It sounds like it.
It is. It's a 3.8
track of.
Yeah, but it does make it a little easier to keep track of because of the thematic nature of it. But there's so much variability to it as well, because all of these cars, right? You can play the game with maybe 2 human players, but then all these other cars are robots. They're AI controlled. And the yellow cars, maybe, like this person's painted theirs all a whole bunch of crazy colors, but normally you have silver cars, black cars, yellow cars, and purple cars. So you fill out the field with all these other cars. The silver cars are ultra fast cars. So they're going a base speed of 5. The most you can do is 4, like on your cards, right? So these cards are just faster than you are to start off. But when you play a card, if you have a 1 card, you can pair a 1 with anything else. So a 4 and a 1 could get you 5 as well. And remember on the track, I said there were these spots that are the extreme trajectory. You can also see other trajectory spots here on the map. There's a +1 here, a +2 here, +3 there. And when you go into that spot, you can line yourself up with a trajectory and you get a +2 from being the first one to get to that spot in that section of track. If you play a green card here, or here if you play an orange card, or here if you play a red.
Did you say how you get cards? Are you just drawing them at the end of your turn or something?
You start the game with a hand of cards, and at the end of your turn, you draw a card. Yeah.
Okay, so you really have to look at the track and plan ahead. Don't use your green card too soon because later on that turn's going to require it if you want a bonus.
Yes. Speaking of cards, here's a bunch of cards. So you've got red cards that typically go faster, like a +4 here, +4 here. But this one, for example, if you're playing this +4, you have to spend 2 tires because you're burning out 2 tires, and you only start the game with like 12 or 10 or 8 or whatever. And your engine takes 2 damage. And your engine starts with 4, 5, or 6 slots. And in the engine, the way the engine works is you have a bag with chips in it, and you reach in and you draw out one of these, and depending on the color, it's the damage that you take. One color, the brown color, is permanent damage. The red color, when you pit, you wipe those away and you start fresh. So there's another consideration. How often do you take that damage? But you might be playing the hazard strategy where when you take a damage, you get a track card for a particular corner on the track that gives you a special thing. So now you're eating up the damage because you're flying around, these corners. That's what you want to do. And then there's cards that this yellow card here, for example, and remember, all these colors are tied into trajectories on the map that'll give you bonuses when you play them. But if you play this yellow card, you can you can look at the weather, like the upcoming weather card, and see, okay, get a clue of where the weather's going to go. This yellow flag means that there's damage on the track. So you drop some damage at a corner that you want on the track. That's going to slow everybody that comes into it down. Not you. Hopefully you don't put it in front of yourself, right? There's
it's like
all
dropping
kinds
a
of
bomb
stuff
in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Or banana peel.
But if there is damage on the track, you can play a green card, a green flag on your card to have it cleared away before you get there. So there's just all these different, and these cards, when you play them, some of them let you draw cards. Here's one that lets you draw a card. Here's one that lets you draw 2 cards when you play this one. So you're managing your hand of cards. When you get into a corner, you can't pass on a corner most of the time. And so cars will stack up in the corner because they can't pass each other. But you'll start off with the last place car and start asking toward the front, do you want to challenge? Do you want to try to pass in this corner? And if you do, then there's going to be a contest. You either participate in the contest or you don't. If you don't participate, then you go to the back of the line. But the ones that do participate in the contest, then you take 2 cards and add up their value and set those aside. You can't use them out of your hand anymore. You've used them for the contest. And the robot cards can draw cards off the deck. And certain corners give bonuses or penalties to the leader in this case as well. But you look up all the totals, and then the cars have to line up, relative to those totals. So you can fight each other in the corners. And if you tie with another car, then you bang into them as you were trying to fight for this, and you both take a damage.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
All right. Well, because of time, let's go ahead and hit your final thoughts on this. Obviously you kind of said a lot of things throughout here that you like about it, but is there anything you want to wrap it up with?
Let's see. Well, I think that it's worth the curve of learning. Like, the rules that go into it, right? And if you like F1 racing, or even if you don't, and you just like Euros, where card play determines what happens, and you have so many options that your strategy is what's going to determine if you're going to win this race or not. I think there's no better racing game out there for me. I've had it since 2013, the first edition. The second edition has made it so much better in so many ways. And I will say that there are a number of house rules that I play with. Because of course, right? But not too many. There are these track cards that you get, right, that give you like maybe a +6 or a +7 or something like that for a particular corner. The house rule that my buddy Dustin and I play this game, we play this with this rule, that only the track cards can only be used in a contest in the corner for which they are specified. So only if you're in that corner. Otherwise, you're definitely going to win a contest. And we play where the robot cars always get 3 cards in a contest instead of 2. So it's much harder, yeah. And I don't know why this is in the game the way it is, but there's so many games like this. They say draw a card at the start of your turn. And
draw it at the end of your turn so you have time to plan before it's your turn again. Yeah,
exactly. Come on, yeah. So draw at the end of your turn. And we also play where you can only get one of those special track cards one time during your turn. Like no matter you could burn a whole bunch of tires, but you're only drawing one. Or you could crash into a car, you're only drawing one. Even if you crash into 2 cars, whatever. So we only one special card per turn. And the final rule that we go with is when you're paying for tires, paying for cards that require you to pay tires, they will show these black tires on them that you have to pay. You can only use black tire chits to pay for those. You can't pay with soft or super soft tires, the ones that let you go an extra spot or go an extra 2. So there's a balance there. You can take those soft tires, but you can't use them to pay for cards. So how many are you going to take? Yeah, that's what we do.
Well, yeah, it looks super cool. I would try it out. I don't care that it's 4 hours. I'm down with long games.
Yeah, it's 4 hours of just such tactical and strategic back and forth. It's really worth it.
I'd definitely try it out, but I don't know about those one square things. I'm too used to like all the other racing games.
That's what sets it apart. That's what sets it apart.
I don't know. I'm kind of leery about that. I watched the video and it just kind of was weird.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next one. That was any last thing? You good?
Nope, that's it. Race Formula 90.
Cool. Check it out.
All right.